I'm thinking we should be live.
Yeah. We're on.
Okay, it says we're on and I am hitting the record. All right. Well, I am so excited, like very excited to have a conversation now in this segment with Coach Kylie Ryan, who is from Sydney, Australia, and is a mindset coach. He knows a ton about health, wellness, nutrition, energy, believe NLP, or you have a massive background. And mindset is the niche for you. You have a lot to share with us on embodying your light. I just want to welcome you. I'm so happy you're here, that you made this work. We're in like a huge difference in time zones, so we appreciate being here and your contribution. Please take it away.
Take it away. It's just it's so great to be here, Dr. Jean, and so great to share with all of our other friends. It's been some amazing things shared so far. So I'm really passionate about this idea of embodying your light, and I've worked for a long time in health and well-being since 15 years ago, when I made quite a radical shift to my own body and my own health through changing my mindset, and I it's really become a passion and a mission, and every time I kind of go to do something else, I keep getting guided back to doing this mission, which is really helping. There's a lot of people in the world that are really struggling with their health and well-being, and that aren't able, feel a lot of physical heaviness and a lot of emotional and mental heaviness. And I really believe that that health and well-being is a 4-plane game, right? You can't just focus on health and well-being without also approaching your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, your spiritual connectedness. And so many people are just dealing with their health and well-being on the physical plane without actually realizing that it is a spiritual game. It's a spiritual practice to live in a healthy body. And so it's really your mission, living in a human body on earth, to look after that body and to be able to embody your light. And so that's in our class today of love and light. I was like, well, that's what it's all about: embodying your unique light, embodying your special gifts, your spiritual gifts, your mental gifts, your emotional gifts, and your physical gifts. And I think so many people maybe don't even realize that that's possible. That maybe they've lived their entire lives with illnesses and difficulties in their health and well-being, that maybe they don't realize that it's possible to live in a healthy, free body that's free from pain and free from injury, and that they can have the energy to do what they want to do and live their truth. And we're coming off the back of 2,000 years of patriarchy, and really seeing our world coming back into balance now in so many different ways, and having that kind of wild pendulum swing from all of the things that are happening across the earth to the changes in our own bodies. There's this obesity epidemic it's a reality, right? And I think sometimes you can be a little bit cloistered in, I know for myself, when I'm, since I've been involved in health and well-being, it's, I don't kind of see it so much because all of my friends are healthy and we live a healthy life. But there are people out there that are really struggling with obesity. And then there are people that are struggling with malnourishment. So, and we've been, my partner Bianca and I, we talk about obesity as the malnourishment of the Western privileged world, because we're eating all these foods that are totally devoid of nutrition. They're totally devoid of light. And I've been thinking about when you can eat, just as a simple idea, just think about how much light does your food have in it? How much light does your food have in it? And so, like, you know, salads and veggies and you know, beautiful fruits and nuts and seeds, they've all got heaps of light in them. They're one step away from the sun and unprocessed. And when you can, you know, make that food with your own hands and bring love into your food preparation, then it shows in your body, right? And so when we're having these, you know, when we're eating and putting into our bodies these foods that are devoid of light, that are made in you know, chemical factories, and that have so many different steps of productions and chemicals made into them so that they're convenient, but they're actually devoid of energy. They're dead foods. And so they take them from our bodies. They don't give to our bodies. And there's just so many, like, there's so many repercussions that come from that. And you know, I've worked in a lot of different kind of fields around health and well-being, and you know, done some, you know, teaching around mindset and around emotional well-being. And every time, like, there are lots of people that I speak to and clients that I speak to that might be quite emotionally and mentally and spiritually aware, but then they can't actually actualize their vision because they don't have the energy to put that into practice. They don't have the energy to actually take action on it, or they don't feel confident enough in their physical vehicle to, you know, to put themselves out there and to shine their light and to speak their message. And
For
so,
sure.
you know,
Yes.
without having that physical piece in place, you don't have the grounding to be able to really embody that message and bring your light into the world. So yeah, it's something that I'm really passionate about. So yeah,
That is,
I'm excited to be talking to you about it.
the connection, just the whole connection between light, energy, and food. That's like a huge revelation to me. How much light does your food have?
Yeah.
How many steps from the sun is your food?
How many steps from the sun? It's like, it came to me the other day because I was like, oh gosh, yeah, like people are, you know, talking about the heaviness of their physical bodies, and they want to get lighter, right?
Yes,
People are always going on about
yes.
wanting to be lighter on the scales, and our dear friend Yvonne, you know, always making these wonderful word plays and like deep meaning. They're coming from these powerful word plays. And I was like, yeah, it's that, you know, if you want to become lighter in your body, you need to be lighter in your food.
Oh.
And when you can be lighter in your food, then everything starts to shift.
Wow.
So yeah.
Is there a book that talks about the light food diet?
I don't know, but maybe I need to.
I've never heard of that. I think you need to write that. That was really huge for me because that is definitely if I was to say what is a struggle of mine, you know, like this area, these are all, and then this one's always a come on, right? And just you nailed it.
Yeah. Let's bring it up.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like one little idea.
One little idea. It's a truth. Bing, and it rings, right? And it stays.
Yeah.
You had a lot of there was a lot of a process for you to get to where you are today. I mean, like anyone. Right? I mean, you casually mentioned that several years ago, this had been what is now just ease and flow and consistent habit, was a struggle, right?
Absolutely.
Any steps that you can offer, or any processes or recommendations for people? To make a gentle shift?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it has definitely been a struggle in my life, and it's something that I've taken many steps towards making that shift. I think the first step is to really realize that making a change to your physical body is about so much more than just the physical choices that you're making. So, you know, I like to think about it just in 4 simple planes of reality, you know, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And so the famine or the malnutrition that you could be having is yes, it might be manifesting in the physical, like maybe, we've had too many Christmas treats, or, have a habit of using alcohol to wind down at the end of the night, or, then coffee to pep up in the morning. And, when you have that level of physical imbalance, then, that's manifesting from a higher plane. And so really having some time in this reflective time to really think about what are my beliefs about, how do I feel about my body? How do I feel about being in this body? How do I feel about the foods that I'm eating? How do I feel about food preparation and investing that time in creating healthy meals that are going to nourish me and give me energy? How do I feel about all those things? And if those feelings are less than love, if they're anything different than love, then there's some investigation and some inquiry that can be made around that. Because if there's no love in the feeling around your body, if you've got, self-loathing or self-shaming, or I don't like this bit, or I don't like this bit, then that's something to investigate. Because anytime you're projecting, something other than love to your body, then you're actually going to epigenetically create a change to your cellular structure, to the expression of your genes.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's a lot of like subtle changes that you can make, and it really starts with love there. So if there is anything less than love when you think about your body, then it's like that next level of inquiry of going, well, what are my beliefs and thoughts about my body, about food, about moving this body, and then looking to your spiritual connection. Sometimes we actually feel like there's a spiritual famine in the world going on, and so when you have this spiritual famine, then you're not necessarily able to pull in and to bring into your body all of your higher energies. And so without being able to be like plugged into your higher spiritual energies, your connection to source, your passion, your mission, your vocation,
which is really,
then it's very difficult to energize.
And it's all part of the nourishment, right? It's all part of the nourishment.
Yeah. It's all part of the nourishment. Yeah. It's got to be on each level. And you can be eating the healthiest food and thinking the kindest thoughts and loving your body, but if you feel if you're in an existential crisis and you have no connection to source and you don't feel any mission or passion, then you won't have the energy to animate your body, right? So Caroline Myss talks about weight being related to this weight of the past, that your energy is not in present time. And so if there's any area of your life where you're feeling weighted down, then chances are that energy is connected to the past. So it's actually draining your energy and allowing that energy to be focused into the past. And we know, the past doesn't exist, right?
No,
it's just we're living in an eternal now. And so that energy is being drained off into other areas. So so my tips would be, think about, how much light is in your food, and really like look at it and go, is this food gonna give me energy? Is this food gonna really love me back? A lot of people say, oh, well, I love food. And that's great. It's great to love food. Love the food that loves you back.
Wow.
Love the food that loves you back. Love the food that brings light and energy into your body. And then my next little tip would be to connect in with the feelings of your tummy. So many people eat because of habit, eat because of timing, eat because people around them are eating, and they are disconnected. It's like chopped off at the neck. We're like these thinking vehicles, and we're disconnected from the subtle signals of our bodies. And so then, putting your hand on your tummy and going, is my tummy actually hungry now? Is my body hungry now? Or is it just my mind or my mouth that wants this now? So really connecting into the feeling of hunger and allowing yourself to eat until you're not hungry. Eat until you're not hungry rather than full. So we don't need to overfill ourselves, because we have an abundance of food that we can eat anytime we need to, you know, in our modern world. So the suggestion is to just eat until you're no longer hungry, and get used to like rating your hunger on a scale of 0 to 10. And so, you know, keeping that hunger scale from, you know, where you're not super ravenously hungry, but you're not over full and stuffed either. If you can keep it in that middle range of just, you know, I'm a little bit hungry, or, oh, I'm no longer hungry. That's a simple, practical tip that you can just, you know, put your hand on your tummy, take a minute to tune in, and just tune into your body and go, is my body actually hungry here? What is my body asking for to give it energy, to give it light? That's the second tip. And then, you know, practicing kindness to your body. Practicing kindness when, you know, whenever you walk past a mirror, give yourself a compliment in your own mind. So many people, you know, every time they go past a mirror, they heap criticisms upon themselves, and they're, you know, shaming themselves, and, oh, this looks bad, or there's wrinkles here, or I don't like this bit, or, oh gosh, and telling themselves all these awful things in their mind. And you know, to get into the practice of going, oh, your hair's looking really nice today, or oh, wow, you know, that sweater looks really nice on you, you know, and compliment yourself as if you were your own best friend.
Wow.
And, you know, simple, practical little steps that can start to retrain your brain and retrain your heart to be kind to yourself, and to really focus on bringing energy, light, and love into your body. And when you can do that as a practical, you know, day-to-day step, then all of those other elements start to unlock, you know, they start to unfold, because your physical vehicle can then hold higher frequencies of wisdom and higher frequencies of insight, and has the ability to then bring that into the world. So a lot of other wonderful things start to unfold when you can put those basic, you know, foundational elements into practice.
That's awesome. That's really great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add on the subject of embody your light?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's really a call to arms, a call to action. You know, anyone that's watching these live streams and is interested and tuned into our frequencies, chances are you're a light worker. You know, chances are your mission is to support other people in the awakening of their light. And, you know, I really think about us as lighthouses, and you know, the more of us that turn on our lights and, you know, light ourselves up like a Christmas tree and really shine that light, just, you know, just like that beautiful passage from Marianne Williamson, so famous, you know, as you let your own light shine, you give others you give others permission to do the same. And, you know, it really is a call to arms to allow yourself to have the courage to step over that fear and move into the light and move into the love of your mission, because whatever that mission is calling to you in your heart, is tugging at your heartstrings or whispering in your ear, you know, that's your mission. And to allow yourself the permission to do that and to go after that, and to really embody that change, that person that you're becoming, that person that you are shifting into, or that is emerging from you. Because we're in a really powerful time of change in our planet, and we need you. We need every single one of you to stand up. We need all of us together. And the more that we can do that, then we see that we're not alone. You know, for so many years I thought that I was the only weirdo, the weirdo on the planet, and then now I've found my tribe. And, you know, the more people that stand up and really shine their light, then there's people out there that are wanting to do the same, and they're waiting for you to stand up first. Yes. So it's really that call to arms, that, you know, go after what you're dreaming of.
That's beautiful, Kylie.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
You may have already answered this one last question, but I'll see if I can give it a different spin.
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm just thinking, you know, like, it's the end of the year, and can you just, let's say that there's someone who a lot of times, I think the end of the year, beginning of the year, there's a lot of quote new leaves turned over, and there's
totally,
you know, resolutions or intentions, or right, and it's a great checkpoint. Right, it's a great checkpoint to kind of check your results, and it's I think it's kind of culturally in us to do that. So let's say that you have someone who's here and they're not looking for a tweak. They really need to just get started on a path, and they don't want to feel like the path is so long that they can't get a win to want to. Do you know what I mean? What would you say to that person, or maybe take a couple minutes to talk to that person?
Yeah, sure. It's if you're on the start of your journey, then like there was a time when I was over 30 kilos heavier than I am now, and I work with a lot of ladies that have shed and released 60, 70 kilos, which is like double that, 120, 30, 40 pounds. So there are significant changes that can be made, and if you do need to make a significant change and want to make a significant change, and you want to get some wins on the board, and it's that thing that there's so much temptation in that place, when you're in that place of struggle, to want to do really radical things and to really make a radical change, and like, I'm going to go on a massive detox, or I'm going to start this diet or that diet, and I'm really a fan of building in a new normal and building the foundations of the new normal. And it's that thing, like, it takes a little bit of getting that snowball rolling. But instead of thinking about starting a new diet where you radically change from your tradition, your like typical way of being, your unconscious habits of the types of foods you eat, the way you shop, the way you eat, they're all habitual programs that you're running. And so instead of making this radical change to the kind of complete opposite, where you go on this mad diet for 3 or 4 days, what we call it Monday to Wednesday dieting, right? I'll start Monday and I'll diet all week, and you get to Wednesday and then it's like, oh God, have I lost any weight yet? And then you go, and then it's, oh gosh, I haven't lost any weight. Well, stuff it, this isn't working, and you go back to how you were before. And so even though you want to make a radical change and make a radical change to your physical body as fast as possible, that in itself is very likely coming from a place of self-loathing, right? Like, this body is no good the way it is, and so I need to change it, right? This body is no good the way it is, so I need to change it. I need to change it fast. I'm too fat. I'm too overweight. This is too bad. I need to fix it. And so then making this radical change, what I've found in 15 years of working with people on this is that very, very rarely does a radical change that starts radically lead to long-term sustainable results. So what we've found is that a better solution that is actually going to last is to really, like we said before, is to check in on yourself and go, hey, this body, even with extra fat, right? Fat protects your cells, fat protects your organs from toxins and toxicity. And so chances are, if you've been putting lots of chemicals in your body through foods that are devoid of light, then your body has some toxicity that it's carrying, like toxic thoughts, toxic chemicals. And so it's carrying some toxicity. And so the fat actually protects your body from this toxicity, from too much toxic overload for your liver and your kidneys to process. So when you start going, oh, okay, so I've been putting these toxins, these toxic thoughts, these toxic chemicals into my body, and my body is using this fat as a protection for my body, then you can start to see that your body has always been working for you and has always been working for you, has always been trying to protect you and look after you. So many people are really mean to their bodies and think that their body has let them down, or that their body is no good, or that their body hasn't been doing what it's supposed to. When the truth is, your body is always working for you. Your body is a part of your unconscious, a part of your higher self. And so instead of starting out by shaming your body, start with compassion and go, wow, my body has been like shouldering the burden of some choices that I made when I was in survival mode. You know, when I was just surviving, and I you know, I just had to get through that moment. And so, yeah, maybe that Mars bar was the best choice, or maybe that double shot coffee was the best choice in that moment for me. And now, from a place of compassion, I'd like to start making healthier choices. So then from that place of compassion, instead, that's the critical part. If we can shift from loathing to self-compassion, that's been like clinically proven to have a huge shift. So shifting from loathing to self-compassion, it's a big change, right? So that's the radical change. So changing from the intention point of compassion rather than self-loathing. And when you change from compassion, then you can start to go, okay, so what's the next most compassionate way I can change my body? And it's by making small changes to your normal. So we like to call it your new normal. So it's been proven that humans can handle or withstand about 10% of change without having too much emotional fluctuation. So what I would suggest is say, what's one thing that is going to move your normal towards a healthier normal? And it might be, maybe I drink a glass of water before I have a cup of coffee or a soda, or maybe I just add a green vegetable that's full of light into a meal. And then I add it into, the next meal, and then into the next meal. So you've got a green vegetable in every meal, right? And then you don't change anything else, because if you change too much, then you'll create this pendulum swing. And so by changing a little bit at a time, bringing in more light into your meals, more light into your body, and creating that new normal, then you will create changes in your body. But the thing is, people most often, when they're starting out on this journey, they look for change at the end point. So the end point is on the scales. So your change will show up last on the scales. It will show up first in the way that you feel about yourself. It will show up in your skin, in your sleep quality. People around you might start to notice your change before you do. Wow. So put away the scales, for God's sake, put them away, right? Put away the scales and focus instead not on the outcome, which is the scales. Focus not on the outcome, but focus on the process. Focus on the habits, because the habits you can control in this moment now. So it's bringing your attention back into this moment now, where your power is. So you only have a body in the now. You can't make changes to your choices in the past. You can't make changes to your choices in the future. You can imagine and future your choices, but you can't actually do the choices in the future. You can only do them now. So allowing yourself to think about your now moment choices and look for the change before the change. And the change before the change is in your energy, it's in your sleep patterns, and just stay that course. Keep going. Self-compassion, small changes, bringing more light into your body, but starting with self-compassion. That's the critical piece. And then everything else can flow from there.
I love the change before the change. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Look for the change before the change.
Look for the change before the change.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Kylie,
Amazing.
thank you so much.
Oh,
you brought so much value in such a concise little, very small window of
little
time.
Package.
You really packed it with value. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jean.
I'm sure everybody who's watching this or catching the replay, they're feeling exactly the same way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jean. It's been such an honor to be a part of it. So I'm so looking forward to catching all the other speakers too. Thank you so much. What a joy.
Kylie. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jean. Have a fabulous day.
You too.